content is for educational purposes only, drawing from our professional and educational experiences and opinions. Please use this information at your own personal or professional discretion. We are not liable for anything you do with this information.
Good evening. Welcome to Ask the Lady Electrical Inspector podcast. I am your host, Tabatha L. On May the 16th, 2025, a powerful EF3 tornado struck St. Louis County and St. Louis City, causing approximately $1.6 billion in damage. The devastating storms, which with winds reaching 150 miles, tragically claimed the lives of 5 people and left 39 individuals injured, impacting 5,000 buildings. The tornado inflicted significant structural damage on various commercial establishments, including restaurants, schools, healthcare facilities, and churches. Additionally, some apartment complexes and historical homes suffered roof dismantling and shattered window destruction. Witnessing firsthand the aftermath of the destructive storm in areas I frequently inspect, I observed numerous fallen trees causing damage to properties, vehicles, and power lines. The uprooted trees and demolished structures, particularly in residential neighborhoods, highlight the storm ferocity. The impact left thousands without power, leading to some residents to evacuate due to the potential gas leaks and unsafe conditions. Notably, Forest Park, renowned for hosting the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, experienced substantial damage, with fallen trees and temporarily closing the main attractions, such as the zoo. Restoration efforts are in progress, with teams diligently clearing debris, conducting repairs, and restoring powers to affected regions. Amid the recovery phase, it is crucial to caution property owners against hasty repair decisions. Beware of opportunists, storm chasers who may exploit homeowners by promising quick repairs and overstating their insurance affiliations. As our community embarks on the path to recovery, let us extend understanding and support to each other during this challenging time, practicing patience and offering grace while fulfilling our civic responsibility are vital as residents navigate the cleanup process and rebuild their lives. In this episode, the focus is on the authority having jurisdiction policy for storm-related electrical work, emphasizing the significance of electrical permits and inspections in maintaining homes and family safety during repair tasks. Homeowners and electrical contractors alike must grasp these procedures to guarantee a smooth process. Insight will be shared from myself regarding storm-related damages, observations highlighting the necessity for all electrical contractors to adhere to the National Electrical Code safety standards, even during emergency repair post-storm. I will discuss the height requirements for the electrical installations. I will address labeling of the apartment and the units. Specific directives for the main electrical service will be outlined. Maintaining weather heads at a specific distance from the cable and utilizing suitable wiring methods. Other critical subjects like preventing water from entering the panel, ensuring tight duct seal, securing connectors adequately, and maintaining clear pathway for electrical equipment will also be discussed. Avoiding obstacles like air conditioning units and fences is crucial to preventing accidents. Understanding and implementing these guidelines collectively contribute to fostering a safer home environment. Prioritizing safety under all circumstances is paramount for safeguarding our living spaces. Let's begin. Following a storm, addressing electrical issues correctly is very important. Storm damage, often a result of falling trees, hail, water damage, and severe weather, poses risk to both electrical systems and residents. Prioritizing safety over speed in restoring power is essential. Adhering to proper protocol facilitate efficient power restoration while safeguarding everyone involved. Collaborating with the authority having jurisdiction holds significant importance. Engaging with local authorities and the local utility company ensures that the repairs work is conducted safely and accurately, minimizing hazard and the overall process. When you are doing electrical work as an electrical contractor, it is important to get a permit. There are several reasons why this is important, but the most important one is safety. Some electrical projects require a permit before you start working on them. Even in emergency situations when quick repairs are needed, you still need to follow up with a permit. If you're building new or making electrical fixes because of the storm damages, you should always hire a licensed electrical contractor. This professional is trained and authorized to handle all of the electrical work, including getting the right permits, scheduling inspections, buying the necessary material, and following safety rules. It's best to choose a local electrician or electrical contractor who has a good reputation. These experts know the community well, and you can check their reviews easily. Now, I would like to read part of the authority having jurisdiction policy for storms. When our area experiences severe weather that results in power outages, the damage to the electrical equipment on the building or the structure, there is a misunderstanding regarding electrical permits and inspection can cause delays in the restoration efforts and confusion in the electrical industry, in which may cause customers to be misinformed. This policy will serve to inform those who may perform storm-related electrical work and those directly affected by a storm what to expect and what is required related to electrical repairs made necessary due to weather-related events. This policy pertains to those buildings and structures that are still able to be occupied after the storm is over. The type of storm damage we most often experience is downed trees and high winds, which cause damage to the electrical utility infrastructure and often the customer's electrical service equipment and wiring. During these events, everyone's focus is directed at restoring power to the customer's equipment, but public safety should not be compromised as a result. The following procedures will provide our best chance to ensure reasonable safety without unnecessarily delaying in the restoration efforts. The authority having jurisdiction has and will continue to coordinate our procedures with the utility to ensure our goals are mutual and prevent procedural conflicts that will cause either entities concerns regarding a safety and or responsiveness. There are three scenarios that will be encountered after the type of storm that we experience. The first scenario, damage to the utility infrastructure, cause an outage, but no damage to the customer. So that's just damage to the utility infrastructure and did not damage any residential or any commercial properties. That's the first scenario. Second scenario, damage to the customer equipment, but the damage is minor. I have a lot of this in my area. I have some minor damage and some major damage. Under this scenario, at the utility's discretion, they may make a temporary connection to restore power to the customer, informing them later that the repairs may be needed by an electrical contractors or required. The authority having jurisdiction is alerted to these locations to follow up and to ensure permanent repairs are completed within a specific time and in accordance with the authority having jurisdiction code-related permits and inspections. The third scenario is severe damage to the customer's equipment and to the structure. Electrical contractors will be required to make repairs and a permit and inspections will be required before the customer power will be restored. In the event of structural damage, it is unlikely that your power will be restored. So the third case scenario, it's unlikely that your power will be restored if you have a gaping hole or a wall missing or some part of your structure is damaged. Your power will not be restored. The authority having jurisdiction goal is to ensure the safety of the public. This will be accomplished by the following. All electrical work shall be performed by a licensed electrical contractor. Electrical permits have been and will always be required for electrical work related to inspections have been and will always be required for electrical work related to the storms. The inspection is the component in the procedure that ensures the electrical work performed is safe and in compliance with the electrical code. The inspection also guarantees the wiring approval is sent to the utility company for authorization to restore power. Now, the authority having jurisdiction would like you to remember something. People affected by a storm and those who support the restoration efforts will at some point start to feel stress. It is expected, and we should just accept the reality. We believe we can reduce some of the potential for stress that can cause conflict and even unsafe acts by recognizing that the restoration effort after a major event cannot move any faster than the procedure in the process. Shortcuts will not lead to electrical safety for customers or the workers. The procedures outlined in this policy should not cause unreasonable delays for anyone. However, the electrical contractor will need to coordinate their work with permit and inspections, and in some situations, coordinate with the utility company. This is the same thing that the electrical contractor does in a non-storm condition. So the takeaway from there is to get a permit. It must be done by someone who is properly licensed. Usually, you get the permit at your town's building department or where you apply for a permit. Working with a licensed electrician or a licensed electrical contractor make this process easier because they know how everything works and where to go. Remember, it's also a good idea to let your electrical contractor take care of buying all of your equipment and supplies needed for the job. Trusting their skills and knowledge will help ensure that your electrical work is safe and meet all the necessary national electrical standards. A question I received, Does the inspector need to go inside the house, even if the damage is just on the outside? Yes, the inspector does need to go inside. This is because the inspection focuses on the electrical safety. That's what the inspection is for. The inspector needs to look at both the outside meter and the service panel inside to ensure that everything is safe and working properly. A reminder to all electrical contractors, even emergency repairs like post-storm repairs must adhere to the National Electrical Safety Standards. Safety is paramount regardless of the situation. Here's a list of recent common electrical code violations that I've found so far during this storm damage. The most common thing I'm finding is missing or inaccurate premise numbers. Ensure that you have the correct premise numbers on your permit. The next thing that I'm finding is missing guide wires on service risers with conduit, EMT, or rigid conduit. You still need a guide wire, Article 230.28. If you offset your pipe, the mechanical strength has been compromised, so you would need a guide wire. That's just an example of when you would need one. Attachment. Conductors cannot attach between the weatherhead and the coupling. So right now there's a lot of loose lines, loose low voltage cables and internet cables and things that are on the ground. So you cannot temporarily support that cable to your mast. Just leave it where it is right now. Don't compromise safety. The service entrance service cable must be supported within 12 inches of the weatherhead or the gooseneck at intervals of 30 inches. Article 230.51a. So I'm seeing a lot of missing support from the weatherhead. It needs to be 12 inches or less. The bypass meters. If you replace a meter due to this damage, there have been a few inspections that I've gone on that they have tried to reuse the meter. A bypass meter is required. So look in your utility book, page 145, for those requirements. Weatherproof connectors. This is an emergency situation, but safety is still paramount and first. Please use a weatherproof connector, such as a Meyer hub or a connector that seals the top of the service entrance cable. Damp and wet location. That brings me to the duct seal situation. When you penetrate and you go inside of a structural from the service panel, you have to seal that with some sealant, some type of duct seal or something that will not corrode the service entrance cable. The reason why you do that also is to prevent leaks from going inside the service cable. So I know that there's a lot going on and we're in a rush, but make sure you put that duct seal on the service entrance cable or the penetration that's going into the structure or the house. One other thing that I'm finding a lot of is the concentric knockouts. So if you're using a metal raceway and you have to go to, and you're using the concentric knockout, you need a bonding bushing on one side. It can be on the outside or it can be on the inside of the panel. But a bonding bushing is required on one side of that concentric knockout. Article 250.92b. Unused openings. Please close the unused openings to prevent any environmental weather from going inside and rust. Close the unused openings, Article 312.5a. Another big thing that I'm noticing, working clearance. 110.26a1. You still have to meet the minimum requirement. Obstructions in front of meters. Most common that I'm finding, they're putting them in front of the air conditions or a fence or a gate. You still need your working clearance of 3 feet in front of that meter. So make sure that in a haste to meet the minimum requirements of the code. Also, the multi-unit complex, apartment complex, condominiums, the meters and the panels must be labeled. So the meters must be labeled outside. Article 230.70B. Got to replace them, and you have to label them because the utility, they need to know which meter goes where. So remember to replace them. Also, the height requirement in these apartment complexes, because I've had one contractor so far, they raised the meter bank over the 6'7". And that's because it was located originally in the driveway, which they were trying to avoid the physical protection aspect. But now you created another problem with the height. And that's going to be more work that you have to redo. Just keep that in mind, the height requirement. Speaking of the driveway, with that height requirement of that meter, if you find yourself in that situation where you can't meet that height requirement and you have to protect your service entrance cables, you can use a car line half channel, Article 250.50, protection against physical damage, and Article 110.27B. So remember, if you're in a driveway, you can protect it either with Schedule 80 because of the thicker wall inside, or a metal raceway, or use a half channel. It's crucial to address these violations to maintain safety standards in electrical work. Now, I'm going to share some observations regarding the storm-related damages. After the tornado, remember to keep the children and pets away from any electrical damages or debris inside or outside of your home or property. If you see any down lines, power lines, report them to your utility company. If you notice damages to your appliances or electrical wires shortening out, turn off the power and stay away from it. If you smell gas, open the window and turn off the main valve if you can. And if you are able, get out of the house. Call the emergency number for your local gas company. Don't turn on any lights or any appliances if you smell gas. Wait till the gas dissipate or the threat is evaluated. Stay inside, stay safe, and continue to listen to your local news station or emergency radio for updates. So once everything is clear, now you need to conduct a safety check on your property and your electrical system. That's imperative. This can be done by just walking outside, checking around. I recommend this to the electrical contractors. I recommend this to the electrical contractors because this is what I'm seeing when I'm walking up. I'm seeing the damage to the receptacle outlets. I'm seeing it to the light where conductors are showing. I'm also seeing it of the air conditions if those were damaged in the tornado. So once you put that service back up, just give a courtesy walk outside because there's a lot of damaged porch lights with conductors that are hanging, and that's something that needs to be addressed before we turn the power back on. Be cautious and stay vigilant. Scammers that try to take advantage of the homeowners who are vulnerable after a disaster. Always choose reliable contractors from well-known companies. Make sure to hire a licensed professional. Look for local references and make sure they are based locally. Don't be in a rush into signing repair contracts. Verify the credentials of the professionals by seeking a local reference, or if you're unsure of a contractor's credentials, contact your claims adjusters, contact the Better Business Bureau or the Chamber of Commerce for referrals. Make sure the contractor that you hire is experienced in the repair work that you need. Be sure to consult your agent or adjuster before you sign any contracts. Question from a homeowner: the utility company left behind some leftover equipment and garbage, including large transformers and cables. who should I contact to have this trash cleaned up? So tips for cleaning up debris on private property. The emergency, you can call FEMA or contact FEMA. I don't have a number, but I have a website, www.fema.gov, private property debris removal after a tornado. Contact them. They will know which agency to contact to have that debris removed. The main goal of the authority having jurisdiction is to keep the public safe, especially when it comes to electrical work after a storm. Here's how we do that for you. We make sure you must have a licensed electrical contractor. All electrical work must be done by an electrical contractor who has a license by the authority having jurisdiction. They must get a permit before or shortly after the electrical work has been completed. Emergency repairs can be done right away, but you must get a permit afterward. However, they must acquire a permit by the next business day, or their work will be considered against the rules. Inspections play a crucial role in electrical work related to storms. They are essential to guarantee the safety and compliance of the work with the National Electrical Code. The authority having jurisdiction focus is on making sure that the electrical work is done safely after severe weather. And for electrical contractors working to restore power, coordinating effectively with permits, inspections, and the utility company is essential. By preparing well and working together, we can improve the experience for customers and speed up the restoration for power. Following established guidelines helps make the process smoother. It's also crucial to understand the electrical guidelines set by the authority having jurisdiction for repairs after the storm. By reducing confusion after a storm, we can make the restoration process quicker and more efficient. Let's join forces to ensure that we create a safer and more effective way to recover from weather events. Stay alert and prioritize your safety as we recover from the storms together. Let's unite to rebuild and strengthen our community following these tough times. Let's come together to support everyone affected by this tragedy and work together towards restoring our community. Stay alert and prioritize your safety as we recover from the storms together. Let's unite to rebuild and strengthen our communities following these tough times. Let's come together to support everyone affected by this tragedy and work towards restoring our community. Stay safe, everyone. Join me Wednesday, June the 7th. As I discuss the requirements for EV electric vehicle chargers. I will go over the guidelines to avoid future issues. Let's work together to tackle any potential electrical safety concerns. Visit my YouTube channel, where I post short videos showcasing common mistakes in the electrical inspections. You can learn about the practices to follow and what to avoid when dealing with electrical systems. If you're interested in understanding more about electrical standards, check out the list of 60 Best Electricians podcast. Podcast.feedspot.com. Feel free to reach out on social media with any questions, comments, or topic ideas. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube under the name Ask the Lady Electrical Inspector. You can email me at asktheladyelectricalinspector@gmail.com for further discussions or to share your thoughts. Let's work together to keep our electrical system safe and up to code. Thank you for your time and have a great night.